Welcome back, brave adventurers, to Link to the Past, here on the HeavenBaseX channel. Today, my good sirs and madams, today we're going to be taking a look at we're going to be starting our venture towards Dungeon 3. Dungeon 3 known as the Skull Woods, or the Skull Dungeon. Either way, it's a really nasty dungeon, possibly one of the nastiest dungeons in the game, because it's a very difficult dungeon that if you don't get your concentrates up, it's gonna consume you. But there is an item that we must need in that dungeon entirely that we can use to beat the level. If we're not gonna be surrounded by freaking guards, though. Jesus, that's a lot of guards. How much pissed off do you have to be? Most because agony is possessed and whatnot. Anyway, moving straight on. You're probably fine now that you have in the light world. Now we have those Saurus flippers. We can pretty much just do what we like, really. If a friggin' trident user is not on the path there. As I mentioned before, this is gonna be we're gonna be going to Dungeon 3 next, and it's the top left dungeon. So what you'll need to do here is that you need a brave pair of hands in order to take out Dungeon 3. In other words, we have to go north of Carico Village. We've already explored most of the dungeon here, and normally be like, yeah, we went to the Lost Woods before. It's kind of harrowing. There's a Dark World version of the Lost Woods, and it is even more hellish. To get to the Lost Woods, we're gonna need to find a certain switch. Or rather, we need to find a portal. This, ladies and gentlemen, we have to find a portal that will take us to this version's Dark World. It's kind of difficult, but we need to find the said portal. And what we have to do is not follow this. It's been a long time since I last played this, so bear in mind, it's been a while, so I will have to find this woods. Now, unfortunately, I think I may have just found the entrance to, I believe I did. I may have inadvertently found the way towards the frickin' pedestal of the Master Sword. So, let's go through, let's go to that, down there. I believe this is our location. I believe it is. Well, not quite, but you get the basic idea. Right, we have to go here. This is our location. No, that's not it. That's the other side of the Lost Woods. What am I doing? What am I doing here? I don't know. But it kind of makes things easier because we're at the right location. Normally, it'd be like... Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, so, as you notice, that we're at Carico Village right now. So, you go up here, and you find yourself a great big block there. See, a great big black rock. We can't go forward from that until we get a certain item that is hidden in this village, which I'll tell you later. So, how are we gonna find this? How are we gonna be able to cross this item? Well, it's actually quite simple. You go back in the woods this way, to the top left, but instead of going up, we go right. Follow this path here, and head down here. Now you're probably thinking, how relevant is that? Well, back to the other side, where we can actually access the item much easier. Get the magic hammer, and just pretty much squish these guys. So that's the magic hammer sorted. And lift that up, and we found ourselves a portal to the Dark World. Equip your item, because we're about to portal ourselves to another difficult area of the game. Welcome to the outside of the Skull Woods. You're haunted. You're full of evilness. And inside this evil forest lies our third crystal. So, welcome to the Skull Woods. It's a pretty difficult place, and it's also very hectic. Not much you can actually say. There are some secrets. This enemy is evil because if it nicks anything that you could lose that item for good. Which is really going to be a distant shame if it does. Keep it going, let's go there. That's the outside of the woods this way. We don't want to go up there. Instead, though, our job is to... This entire forest is a dungeon, by the way. And so let's take a look at our first venture forward. So we'll go down here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dungeon 3, known as the Skull Woods. This is a multi-area dungeon with secret passages and hidden areas that God knows like. And our adventure and our best hope is to find all the entrances. Not only find all the entrances to this place, but it's essentially that we have to find key items and get straight into that. So, what do we do for the Skull Woods? Well, we need to get our hands on a compass. So this is a very difficult area. You have to get used to areas like this. You do get lost. You can kill the yellow creature, this guy here, if you keep hitting him with the attacks. He does actually, if it beat red armored beasts, he will die. That is good. That is good indeed. So yeah. Oh, we got our first treasure chest. Yes, we do. It is, of course, the compass. So, yeah, you do find the compass, but you inadvertently trigger the traps in this room, so... where do we go next? Well, we go right into this chamber. Moving on, we have mummies, and that's an awkward sign. We could also introduce this dungeon and future dungeons on. There's an enemy called a land... It is called a landmaster, or rather a shadow hand. These annoying fuckers will take you back to the beginning of the dungeon! If you're not careful. And they're infinite. You don't want to get caught up. If you get caught up, you go back to the entrance of the dungeon you came into. So we get to go back to where we were. Of course, they can be killable. They unfortunately respawn. It's not much fun. Here you'll find a key. That key will give us a purpose and will open the door right there to the top right of the room, like so. Pair and noted. Okay, so keep just pretty much what you just have any tricks here. I mean, you could use the that's interesting. There are many various ways of killing these things. So disable that and head towards that and you'll find yourself the dungeon map, which is an unusual choice. So we now have the map and the compass, which is true. So where do we go now? We can't really cross, well, we can cross the room like so, and defy all belief. Can kill the small Helmosaurs by using the sword beam, or the hook shot. Either way works. Telling it, these are really interesting items. Oh, sure, you do that. So, it's not interesting much, guys. I mean, it's a very difficult dungeon. You just keep following this one, right? Right, next up you do is you bomb the wall here, which will take you to this part here. Now, pull the switch, and it will destroy the room. Indeed it does. Which is going to be interesting. Now let's trigger the trap. Well, not exactly trigger the trap, but we know. There's the big treasure chest. Already, you may ask yourself, how are we able to do that? Well, unfortunately, we can't get this item for now, but we can actually try and go back the way we came. Like so. So we're back the way we are. Again. No traps or anything, just grabbing all the items here. As you hopefully may have noticed. Do that again. There. Go back here. There. Try this. It's not that hard. All you just have to do is force the red beetle to fall into a hole. If you can do that, then yeah. Otherwise, just pelt him so many times with the beam. Ridiculous. Right. We went north last time, and we're gonna go east this time. Alright. No, we're not. We're not going that. We're gonna keep going this direction. Okay then. Went east last time. Right, time to use the bomb medallion. Or bombos. Once we get a certain item, we won't be needing the bombos much. And the introduction of the giant magic jar, which is a full recovery for a magic section there. Pick up a key and use this key to move on to the next room here. Like so. Moving on to the right. Well, at least we actually went back to the thing, so we went up and we went right. Okay, cool, we actually know what we're doing, so Let's see, where do we go next? And I believe we're not going to go down this hole. No, we're not. There's actually another entrance here, somewhere here. There it is. Go down this entrance, we're now going to be able to move on to the next part of the dungeon, the actual supposed main part of the thing. This is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to find the big key here. In this part, we find the big key. When we get the big key, we can actually unlock our potential and hopefully avoid getting hit by the Landmaster or the Shadowhead. I'm just going to call it the Landmaster. Avoid the Landmaster. It's not your best enemy. Or just avoid the giant hand. It's ridiculous, right? Starting off with our little adventure, we'll start going left. You find yourself here. Head outside. We've reached the other side of the woods. Okay, so we reached the other side of the woods, and I just realized I might have made a mistake. I believe I did. So go back the way in you came and head towards the right. Head towards back the entryway of this second part of this dungeon. If you want to, just start clearing enemies out with bombos, because it takes a lot of time. And to be honest, really a lot of time. I think most of these items are optional, but they really do help. So let's get this out of the way. Right, you'll find yourself this is the way forward, but the problem is though, is that we can. Are we gonna highlight the magic cave? Here's a little tip. You can actually avoid getting hit. You can avoid the shadow hands if you activate the magic cape, like so. Yeah, you can actually do this invisible. Who knew? Which is really, really useful. Okay, so let's get bombos back into this picture, like so. Destroy all the enemies in this room, and there we go. Destroyed by bombos, it says. There should be right there should be another key item. No, it's the big boss key. Good. Right. This is the most important one here, is that bomb key. So let's get this one out of the way. And we pick up the magic jar. So now that we have the big huge key, we can now effectively unlock the treasure chest that we're missing. So yeah, no, I'm not. I thought there was something there. Sharp phone. Anyway, push the statue back out of place, and we can get out of this dungeon. Indeed we do. But right now, I'm just curious where we need to head off to, as it were. So yeah, I'm a bit confused where we are in this dungeon. Key item over there, I think. Let's get out of this miniature dungeon. That there. Out we go. So we're on the other side of the dungeon now. Let's see. That weird shape there. We need to effectively. Well, we gotta progress. We're gonna head towards there with the right item. But the problem is though, we haven't got the right item. So down we go here. It'll take us back to an unusual point in the dungeon. That's this bit. Now I could have sworn we've actually been. Nope, this is actually the upper chamber. So let's get that out of the way. Use the hook shot there to move that there, and there we go. We can now effectively move across and head towards here. The purpose of this is to unlock the door here. We don't have a key. Yes, we do. We do. We can actually effectively unlock the top. As it were like this. It is a recharge room. Ooh, fairies. Oh, I can catch one. I need to catch one. Yeah, call a fairy. Excellent. Fairies are going to be useful. Oh, bollocks. I can actually see why this is the trap room. Can't get any of the items there, so they're lost to us permanently, blah 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 and all that shit. Right, we are done with this portion of the dungeon, so we haven't got the item that we know we don't. And I just realized this now because the problem is though with the dungeons like this is that they're all actually linked. Surprisingly linked. Okay, so let's head back across here and let's get out this way. This dungeon is now this area of the dungeon is only for crossing the woods, as it were. So head up here. Let's get back to that first area of the dungeon. Now that we have the big key, we can unlock the giant treasure chest. That's gonna be useful. I'm trying to look at bosses as well. Speaking of bosses, let's take a look at the name of what we got. Let's see. Skull Woods. Boss. No. Ah! I know who the boss is now. Right! We just picked up the treasure chest. This is the fire rod. This is a very useful item that will help us possibly for the rest of the game. It's a very powerful fire conductor. It will allow us to create fireballs that will effectively that we can use for the next dungeon, because it'll be very kind of useful. Out we go. Sorry, I had to ignore you there, ladies and gentlemen, because I had to look up the boss's name. Well, it's a very important, so we're going to be taking him on about 10 minutes. We now have the item needed to progress to the final part of the dungeon. This is going to be very important for you. So let's go back. Let's go through the dungeon again. Cross this bit here. Cross this bit there, and head south here. Reward for this one is a trip to the left side of the dungeon. As it were, to be a maximum groupies, which I don't know why we're picking up here. Well, at least the sequel actually fixed it right. Use the fire rod to hit the skull creature, and it'll open. An escaping corpse will open up a hole, which will take us to the next part of the dungeon. So let's go inside it. This bit is a little bit harder because we have the dungeon item. We got everything that we need. Sorry for the jump cut, but I had to split this originally into 2 parts. Not anymore. I decided to merge it all together into one. So in this bit here, we need to find the boss room. To do that, all we have to do is follow this complicated row of messes and head towards the right over here, which one takes us to the left there. Right, there we go. Sorted. Spikes now dominate this area, so head south here. There's a transformation thingy there. Kick slash this mummy so it dies. Right there, and then proceed to jump. Force the mummies to go another distance, head towards there, and pick up the key. Which is kind of tricky. Now we gotta go back the same fucking way. If you stand in doorways, then magic spells are not affecting you. So effectively, the door gods will actually help you here. So the door gods deemed your magic spell opponent to be fag-worthy. So head to right. Let's get back to the confusing staircase here. Like so, and now we'll head up towards the entryway like so, avoid hitting the stone. Boom! Move on to room 2. This is actually very simple here. Head north, head west, so bottom left, head northwest, and then hit this lot here, and then head to the northwest there, which in question, head towards that. Towards these 2 and such. Right, here we go. This is a new tricky area. This is where you'll need the fire rod for. Get all the mummies together, kill them off with bombos here. So effectively they'll pretty much be like, you know, toast, as it were. So that's that. Rewards and such things. So I'm surprised that didn't kill me. Right, this is a bit difficult, so you need to pay attention. The fire rod will be used to activate torches. It is a lot faster, it is more effective than the, pretty much the effective than the lamp. The lamp is essentially useless. That is officially our statement. So, we're using a lot of the bombos here. Let's use a bit of ether magic for a change. Which actually fucking helps us. Jesus Christ. It's a lot of effectiveness, and he's dead anyway, because he's frozen. He's frozen like a bitch. Right, swipe the walls until you find the one with the door, then pretty much swipe because, well, you're nothing else. Swipe that, and then you move on to the next one, which is going to be through here. Next up is another room that's going to be full of bad guys. Head towards the top left and start killing enemies, because they're going to be the crucial part here. And a better way of killing mummies here is actually using the fire rods, because it's a one-hit kill for these enemies. And the mummy has that. Let's check and see no hidden rooms here. No, there isn't. Cool. Moving on. Moving on to the next one. This is where we'll be fighting our boss. So pick up these items. Get the fire rod ready. And jump down the hole. Ladies and gentlemen, this is boss number 3 of the Dark World Forces. This is Mothula. It's a tricky fight in this scenario, due to the fact that you're not just up against Mothula, you're going up against an entire room of spiked enemies, spiked traps. And since the fire rod is very effective, he gets killed about 6 or 7 hits. Heart piece 14, heart piece 14, and we've just saved our 3rd maiden, which is fantastic. So let's find out more about this maiden's backstory, adding to the lore that we already know from the first 2 parts. And go. Link, because of you, I can escape from the clutches of the evil monsters. Thank you. No problem. Do you know the prophecy of the Great Cataclysm? This is the way I heard it. If a person with an evil heart gets the Triforce, a hero is destined to appear. That's us. And he alone must face the person who began the Great Cataclysm. If the evil one destroys the hero, nothing will save the world from his wicked reign. Only a person, the Knights of Hyrule, particularly the royalty of Hylia, can become the hero. You are of their bloodline, aren't you? Then you must rescue Zelda without fail. Also, I'd like to point out that because of the timeline changes, the Cataclysm has already happened. The Cataclysm already happened because Ganondorf was like, I'm gonna pillage the countryside! And the Knights of Hyrule are like, no! You will not pillage this day! No, you won't! We will protect 6, 7 crusty old bastards! In fact, I'm throwing down the previous Zelda. No, the others. The bad news is that we can effectively get ourselves. We have to walk ourselves out of the dungeon since this place is entirely useless. We don't need to go through this again, so that's essentially it. I'm adding to the Cataclysm theory. The Cataclysm was an event in Zelda that in Zelda, or in this timeline, that Ganon had already won his battle and claimed the Triforce for himself, thus setting off the motion. Personally, this has already happened. When Ocarina of Time's Link died in an alternate timeline, that alternate timeline was the Decline timeline. This one. This is why the Cataclysm happened, because there was always the one possibility from a timeline that Link failed to defeat Ganon. Or rather save the day, and thus his forces were unbeaten. So that's essentially what I reckon the new theory kicks into, so if I'm a bit wise, that's awesome. Anyway, our next dungeon is actually not far from where we are. Exactly what I was about to say. The next dungeon, ladies and gentlemen, is actually in the Thieves' Town. And it is essentially we're going to find the Thieves' Hideout. That is our 4th dungeon of the game. Is right here. So we don't really need to go far. Just it's a lot easier to go for the 4th dungeon than it is to go to the 3rd dungeon. Although I'm not going to say of the quest that's coming up, but at least we know where to go. So, where is this off-dungeon entrance, you may ask yourself? So, let's head down here now in the light world. This was the compass. This, pulled together, that is our entrance. But then I realized something went wrong. I may have actually skipped something, but I think I forgot something very vital whilst I was doing all my questing and efforts and all that. So we're gonna rectify this. We're gonna head back to Karaka Village, like so, and we're gonna get the flute out because it's now time to get the creature that lies inside the compass. Your reward is the duck. Duck? Isn't that supposed to be a pigeon? Why a duck? Then we must... Oh, we might as well... Well, we can't use the duck. But we can use the duck. Summon the duck! See, there are 7 points where the duck can go. We can use this to go back the way we were, but then we can now head back towards the Dark World. Alrighty then, so, in the next episode, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go inside this place.